happens by chance. Everything is deliberate. And so the history, the economic history of the world, it's amazing that it started with the farming age. The farming age was an era where life was subsistent in its ramification. And so there was a desire for survival. And the best people could do was to do manual work to survive and succeed. And then after a period of time, it moved to another age, the industrial age, when we had industrial revolution, where economies of the world began to grow as a result of certain people came with great ideas on how to step up production to another level by developing certain machineries that were key. So human beings began to use machines to grow economies. And then it moved once again to a very interesting time. About 2 decades ago, the world has actually existed or is existing in the information economy. In the information economy, it's interesting for you to know that the world began to shift to the point where what matters most actually is a world that is shrinking. A world that is what? Shrinking as a result of the shrinking, of the world, because the world is beginning to come together. Information are beginning to go from one nation to another with such a speed and response that the world suddenly experienced what we call globalization, which means the world is in my palms. That's a very critical stage that we are in. Even within the midst of globalization, something outstanding happened in the context of responses that are going on around the world, quick responses. It got so sophisticated to the point where we could now begin to say that it becomes an age of technologies, right? From technologies. So technology becomes key at this point in time in order to drive growth. However, when people were jubilating that if you own technology, then you own growth, you own expansion, you own influence, you own all sort of things. Another age began to emerge, which is the knowledge and creative age, which they titled it as the creative mind. The age of what? The creative mind, where we have become creators of music. We have become creators of ideas that are shaping the world. Which means if you have ideas today and you are able to harness those ideas, guess what? If you stay the course, if you decide to dream around the ideas that you have got, if you become a free dreamer who can dream as far as you can ever think about, you can close your eyes but not daydreaming. You can sleep but not having nightmares. I'm talking about you can stay awake and your mind is pumping into the future. You're seeing a future so clearly from your mind, and you become a pioneer. A pioneering spirit hits you because you want to create something that will touch the world in ways unimaginable. This is the era that we're talking about. It is an era where you're no longer competing with any other person, but you're competing with yourself. This is an era where nobody has the capacity to stop you because they don't have access where your dream exists. Does that make sense? When every other person says, wait a minute, this man has got something that the world needs, let's stop him. And everybody is gathering momentum. They want to stop you, but right where you are, you say, wait a minute, you can't stop me because I have the freedom to think the way I want to think. I have the freedom to dream whatever I want to dream about. You fall into the era of people like Conrad Hilton, who dreamed about building great hotels that will shape the world. You begin to fall into the era of people like Martin Luther King Jr., who had great ideas on how to stop segregation without fighting. Without what? Fighting. In that era, there are only few men and women that fit into that era. The question I want to ask you today, do you think you fit in? Answer me. Do you fit in? Do you fit in? How many of you are dreamers here? Everybody wants to dream. Everybody wants to make a difference. Everybody says, I want to count. Everybody claims to be a dreamer. But the truth of the matter is that if generations of the people that are claimed to be dreamers and leaders, if they were truly dreamers, what a country they would have delivered. They would have delivered a great country with great infrastructure, a great country with great capacities, a great country with human capital that can think great thoughts over a period of time. And so they failed us. They failed us. They failed us. I remember that somebody told me a story about how in the First Republic, many of the people that represented us in this country couldn't have the courage to think and dream about a Nigeria that is united. They couldn't have the capacity to mobilize all the resources in their disposal to think about a nation that is united with a vision of a great nation that can reproduce after its kind and probably become the best in Africa. They were in their little minds most of the time thinking about the tribes. And no wonder they have left challenges that up to today are issues of worry for everyone, including today. And my joy, however, is that when the assignment came to grow leadership capital for our country that will begin to teach young people how to become leaders in a country that is divided as ours, how to become pulling forces that will bring together the different elements called Nigeria and produce an economy that is united forever. When that idea came upon me, I realized that this generation of young people that are growing up will make a difference for our country. And I'm so excited that you have confirmed it today that you are one of them. That was why Abraham Lincoln said, I do not care about who my grandfather was. I only care about who his grandson is going to become.
Gotni, building outstanding leaders.